Hey, good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator nextlevelguitar.com. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journey is going famously. And today what I have for you is my top 5 practice tips when you're going about learning scales, right? Now these are in no particular order. The first one is when you're learning scales, just don't learn the scale alone. That's not enough. I mean, you could know every scale that was ever created, ever by man, but if you don't know how to use it, you don't know how to apply it, you don't know over what chord it works, you don't know how to play it in different keys, what good is it, right? So learn the scale, but take the time to learn, hey, let me try it in different keys. Get comfortable with it in different keys. Hey, let's learn the scale, but also let's learn what chords does it work over, or in, what keys. How can I use it? How do I apply it, right? That's so important. The studying the sound and relationship between chords and scales, that's kind of where I'm getting at, is so critical. And it could be something as simple as like just find out what sounds best to your ears. Like take some chords and play them and then try the scale over the top of it. Or loop a chord just going, just a one chord vamp and try different scales over it and see how you like the sounds. It could be something similar like just take an E minor 7 chord, right? And then just play, let's say, I don't know, try E natural minor over it. See how you like that. You might find, okay, maybe over that E minor 7, let me try E Dorian, maybe I'll like that, Or maybe, if you're messing with harmonic minor, try it. It might be a tad exotic, but again, it's all about the sounds and what sounds best to your ears, right? Second, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps us to keep the content coming. Maybe if you like the lesson, click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment below in the comment box. Let us know how you like the lesson. Let us know what you would like to learn in coming lessons. The second thing is when you're learning scales, just don't learn shapes or fingerings. That really limits you. You want to take the extra time to learn the notes that you're playing and to learn the intervals. And I know that's a lot of extra work trying to learn the notes on the fretboard, and I could help you with that. I'll put a link in the description box below that will get you learning the fretboard in 4 easy steps as far as learning the notes, right? It's not that complex. It just takes some time, and you can do it, right? But when you're learning, what a lot of students do is they learn shapes and positions. So for instance, like if they're learning that E natural minor scale, they'll learn it as this. They'll learn it like on the 5th string root, 7th fret, they'll learn 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. And that's how they'll learn it. But what that does is that box you in to a position, when really that's not what the scale is. Not a position, it's a group of notes or a mode. Like a lot of people, I heard them when they're talking about E natural minor, E Aeolian, they'll say, the 7th position of natural minor mode, and that's really technically not correct because the modes, and they're really not a position. It's a group of notes together that's creating a mood or a sound, right? And what happens is when you start to learn the notes, and you learn this maybe at first if you just need to know the fingering, but then you learn this as E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, back to E. You'll start to hear the notes, associate them with the scale, and then, for instance, with this E minor 7th chord, if you know the notes in that chord are an E, a B, right, a G, and my D, then you got something, because then you know the strong landing notes for those when you're playing over that chord. Because see, you can focus on that G note and really make your solo stand out. Or maybe on the D note. Right? So learning the notes of what you're playing and not just the, the fingerings or the numbers is a big step in your playing, and you'll see it'll help you to attach the sound of the chords to the sound of the scale, and your ear will start to develop because of it too. So it has all kinds of benefits. The third thing when learning scales, and usually when learning scales, most students first start learning the pentatonics, like the minor pentatonic scale, right? Because that's probably the most common scale used in most genres of music. And they'll learn the minor pentatonic scales. But what I'd like you to keep in mind is when learning scales, especially when you learn your minor pentatonics, learn how to flip those scales to the major pentatonics, because you won't have to then learn a whole nother five box shapes for major pentatonic. You'll be able to get at them through the minor pentatonic. Everyone knows with minor pentatonic, right? You learn those basic 5 shapes, right? 5 positions, and that kind of connects, that gets you the whole neck. Or I teach the expanded scales where you can kind of get away with just these 2 that connect together, 3 boxes each. But you could take those and easily flip them into major pentatonic. And why that's important is for a few reasons. One is because when you're first starting out, especially, you want to get comfortable soloing in minor key and major key, right? Because you might not necessarily be able to use minor pentatonic for everything. Like if you have a major key jam and a strong major tonality, a lot of times you can't use minor pentatonic. So you want to cover most of your bases, and you could do that by learning to solo in minor key and major key. So you can knock that out to start, and there's obviously lots more you could do, but going through the pentatonics is a great way to start. And all you're doing is you're flipping, so you're basically working on the concept of relative major and minor. So, and it's very simple how you can flip those around. So learn your pentatonics when you're learning your scales. Learn to flip minor to major, studying the relative minor and major pentatonic. I could help you with that too. I have an ebook that teaches you all about that, teaches you all the scales and how to connect them throughout the guitar neck. Click on that link below in the YouTube description box, and I'll send you a free video lesson and an ebook. Video lesson on some really awesome lead guitar techniques, and also the ebook has all these concepts in it that will help you to start to see the neck and have that fretboard vision, right? And start looking at things a little bit differently and connecting it and moving across the neck. Most people start off with minor pentatonic and then major pentatonic, right? And then they move on from there. If you want a good batting order for learning scales, I have another lesson on that, and I'll put the link right here for that. So you can just click there, and I'll take you to my lesson on a great batting order that'll take you right on through pentatonics and majors and modes and minor scales and everything. So check that lesson out to help you, because it can be overwhelming with all these scales. What do I learn first and second and why and whatnot? And I go over all that in that lesson. And the fourth thing is not necessarily something tangible as far as learning scales, but it's something I want to implant in your brain. And that basically is, as you continue on in your lead guitar journey, don't neglect your rhythm playing. All right, because I see this over and over and over again, and everybody wants to, smoke and rip on lead guitar, and often they put so much time into that and they really neglect the rhythm playing. And then when they start getting together with other people or with a band, they find they have a big problem because their rhythm chops aren't up to speed. Right? Because think about it. I mean, solos are small pieces of songs, And in the end, really, no matter how great a solo is, it's the song that's remembered. You're going to be playing rhythm, 80, 90% of the time, right? So you want to continually challenge yourself and learn new chords. Continually challenge yourself and work on your chord changing techniques and your strumming and your rhythm and your rhythmic techniques, and have a good laundry list of things that you could do rhythmically. And whatnot, and that will make you such a better player, because I believe that because you play rhythm so much, your lead guitar playing is really only ever going to be as good as your rhythm playing, so don't neglect it. And the last thing, as far as my top 5 tips for practicing and learning scales, is practice over jam tracks, right? And you're probably saying to yourself, what I'm going to learn a scale and practice it over a jam track? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because you want to be able to put these scales in a musical context. Like I said in the first one, learning the scale alone, that's only half the battle. Learning this is great, but just practicing that's not musical, right? That's not musical, right? So you want to be able to practice that over a track that has some rhythm and chords behind it. And that'll do a few things for you. One, it'll start teaching you, hey, I like the way this scale sounds over this particular chord, or this set of chords, or this key. So it'll start developing your ear. The other thing it'll do for you, it'll start thinking in terms of taking those scales and making licks out of them. Because really the scales is what are the building blocks, the licks in our lead guitar, right? So practicing over jam tracks is absolutely critical. It's an invaluable tool for the practicing guitarist. Even if you just put the track on and just play straight at first. Just play straight through the scale just to get it under your fingers, because what'll start to happen is you could start to take the scale and break it up, even if you're just like stopping. And use some slides and some different vibratos. Just go back over the notes that you're playing. And all these licks will start to come up in your head very, very quickly. But having that track behind you is critical. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I got the track on. All right, it's just a simple 2-chord change, G minor 9 to a C9 in the key of G minor. G Dorian works great over both chords. G minor pentatonic and blues works great over both chords. So if you're learning G Dorian, let's say, just take the scale, or G minor pentatonic, we'll just do that, G minor pentatonic and blues. Just play the scale over the track and get your fingers used to that scale. Then, take the scale and start to break it up. Repeat the notes. Slide around on those notes. And all these lick ideas will start coming into your head. Add a little vibrato. Just taking the scale right up. Say you're learning G Dorian. Same thing. Just blast it right over the change. Then break up the scale. Maybe just play on the top 3 strings, scale fragment. Slide around on the notes. But you have the track behind you, so you're starting to hear what notes. Well, I really like that A note, right? And you can get into bending. You do a lot at first. The key is associating the scale to these chords, to the track, to your fingers, and getting comfortable as you're learning the scale, just staying right in this G Dorian or G minor pentatonic. If you want that jam track, by the way, I'll send you that and 5 more, 6 in different keys. So you have tons of jam tracks to practice. I'm trying to load you up here with your practice equipment, so to speak, right? I'll put that link for the jam track coach. I'll send you that for free. 6 jam tracks, 2 ebooks that explains what to play over what to try, why it works, right? It's a template for your practice and soloing strategies. Think about it. It's really all about the music and all about the sounds, right? Not just learning a scale for a scale's sake, but applying it musically and using it and knowing the chords that it works over and why and what sounds best to your ears. So I hope this helps. Remember, subscribe to the channel. And please click the like button, maybe spread the word about the channel, right? Maybe put a comment below and let us know what you want to learn in some future lessons and content. Stay tuned. We got lots more great content. Again, I'll put some other links in that YouTube description box so you can get the Jam Track Coach and the ebook also that I talked about earlier with all the scale diagrams across the neck. Check those out. I'm David Taub, co-creator of nextlevelguitar.com. So appreciate your support over the years. Thank you so much. Email us any questions. We are here to help. I want you to remember this. Your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.